Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a reading vlog just to hopefully motivate myself to get the ball rolling, because I picked my January TBR obviously at the beginning of the month, and then I've only read 2 books since then. They both were on my January TBR. The only books that I finished this year, and it's currently the 20th, I think it's January 20th right now. I finished City of Smoke and Brimstone by Kayla Edwards, and then I read Soul Ties by Miss Candace, and those are the only 2 books that I have read or completed in all of 2026. So I really want to try and finish some of these books that I A, have started, and B, just need to get to and complete just to get through my January TBR, and also just complete some books, you know. Like, it's already the 20th. I feel like I should have completed like at least like 4 or 5 books by now, and I just haven't because, well, I've been really busy, and also I just have been reading so slow. Like, when I am picking up a book, I'm enjoying what I'm reading, but I just can't seem to find like the motivation to like continue reading the book. Does that make sense? I don't know. So anyway, the books that are left on my January TBR is these 3, and then there were 2 more. The 2 that I probably will not be reading in this video is Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, and then Together We Burn by Isabel Canas. Isabel Ibanez. I don't think I'm gonna get to those 2 in this video, but these are the other 3 that were on my January TBR, and 2 I'm in the middle of, so I should be able to finish them this week. I hope. The first one is The Isle in the Silver Sea by Tasha Suri. I am reading this literally at the speed of a snail. I can't even describe how slow I'm reading this book, and it's not because I'm not enjoying it. Every time I pick it up, I'm like, wow, this is so interesting, and I like these characters, and I like the story, and I like everything that's going on, but I just can't seem to, like, I literally am reading 1 chapter and then closing the book. That's how I've been reading this for some reason. I'm currently on page 82, which is chapter 7, so I've only got this much into the book. Hopefully we can get through some of this today. I don't really have too much that I need to do today, so I'm gonna try to get a good way through this book today. I hope, at least. The other book that I'm in the middle of, and I'm actually almost finished with this, is Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. This is, I mean, obviously everyone knows what Game of Thrones is. It's like a high fantasy. Oh, sorry, I didn't even explain. The Isle in the Silver Sea is a sapphic fantasy romance with a knight and a witch, and then obviously Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones. Like, we know what that is. It's like a high grimdark fantasy story, like very strong, like politics and family history, all of that. So I'm really enjoying reading this. I have watched the show twice. Well, I've watched it full through 1 time, and then the second time I watched it, I stopped at like season 5 or 6 or something like that. But so far, this is pretty much almost exact to season 1, like the exact same lines and everything being said in the show or in this book. So I pretty much already know everything that's going on in this, but I'm almost done with this. I just have like the very ending to read, and I've been listening to this mainly on audio, so I'll probably just finish this at some point, probably today or tomorrow. I'm not too sure. And then the last book that I will be reading in this video is Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. I love Carissa Broadbent so much, and I haven't read the series yet because I've been trying to like save it because I don't want to like read all of her work and then not have anything to look forward to. And a lot of people like this series better than the Nyaxia series, so I've just been kind of saving it and waiting for the right time to read it. And I think I could go ahead and pick it up because the 3rd one is being traditionally published, I think, in March, so I could just read like January, February, March, and then have this and kind of savor it that way, you know. So I did go book shopping this weekend, so let me grab that and I'll show you really quick my little book haul. I just put them all in this Barnes bag, but most of these are from Half Price Books. Literally only 1 is from Barnes. So the only book that I got from Barnes was Wuthering Heights. The reason I'm reading Game of Thrones right now is because I'm in Chris and Mad's Patreon page to film, or like page to screen adaptation little Patreon book club that they have. So Game of Thrones was the January book pick, and I know that Wuthering Heights will be the February book pick because the movie's coming out. So I went ahead and picked this up from Barnes, and I think this cover just looks really cool. I was gonna buy the Harper's painted edition of this because I have the Frankenstein edition of that, and I thought it would just be really cool to collect those because I'm obsessed with those covers. But then I saw this, and all my classics are different. Like, I don't have classics that I'm buying like the same edition of that I have yet. So I thought this one would just be kind of fun to add to my pile of classics that I have. Yeah, we'll be reading this in February. The first half price books that I went to, I got A Darker Shade of Magic. I'm always trying to find this book series in the white covers, and every time I find them at half price, they're in like really bad condition, but this is literally in like perfect brand new condition, and it's a exclusive collector's edition of this book. So I thought this would just be really cool to have, and then maybe I can find the other two like this, and if not, I'll just buy them in like hardcovers to match the size at least. But I'm really excited to get into this series. And then that same half price, I picked up Outlander. My sister actually gave me an Outlander book, but it's like the smaller paperback, and it's like so beat up that I wanted to collect the tall ones if I am gonna read them. So I just went ahead and picked this up because it was only like $8, and I'm really excited to read this series. I think this is gonna be a fantastic series. And then the other two that I picked up from a different half price books was these two, an offer from a gentleman. It was only $2. I really want to get to this before the show comes out. And then the last book that I picked up from half price was Queen Bee. This is also kind of like a Bridgerton-esque type book. I'm really excited to get to this at some point. I think this will be a really fun like summer romance read. Those are the 5 books that I picked up this weekend while I was in St. Louis. So yeah, I could potentially end up picking up one of these or a different book. I don't know. I just know I need to get reading. That's all I know. And I just keep procrastinating. I have a few things that I need to do today. I need to run by my work and grab some things. And I definitely need to clean. So maybe I'll just throw on the end of the Game of Thrones audio while I clean and pick up my room, because I have laundry I need to do. I just need to do some cleaning. And I need to go grocery shopping as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all of that done, and then tonight I'm going to sit down and hopefully get through a good ways through a book. I cannot believe I've only read 2 books in all of January. It's been 20 days and I've only read 2 books. That's crazy. I just haven't, I don't know. I'm reading so slow. I don't know what the problem is, but maybe this little book haul will inspire me to pick up some books and get reading. I don't know. We'll see. Morning. It is now the next morning, and I have a few updates on the books that I've been reading. So first off, I did finish Game of Thrones. So also the sun is like doing a whole lot right now, so I'm sorry about that. But I did finish Game of Thrones last night. I just listened to the ending of this while I was doing stuff yesterday, and this story is just literally so cool. If you've ever watched this or read the books, you know, like kind of during the middle of it, there's so much going on that you're like, oh my gosh, like your head starts to hurt a bit, and you're like, I don't know who these people are, like I don't know what's going on, like how does this tie in? And then the way it ends is just so epic that you're like, oh gosh, now I need to know how that plays out, or like what happens from here, you know? So it's just such a good story. I think George R.R. Martin really, I don't even know how he created all of these people and these history, like all of the history, all of the familial lines, like dating back. I don't know how he created this story. It's really crazy to think about, but I love this and I'm so glad that I read the book. However, I don't think I'm going to continue reading the series just because it's not finished and I don't really feel the need to. I'm glad that I read this and I had a really good time with it. I feel like I learned a lot, especially with like Chris and Matt's Patreon. Like the way that they broke it down and really went into the history and like the lore and the families and everything. I feel like I learned so much from reading this, and I just appreciate the story so much more from reading this. But I don't think I'm going to continue just because, like I said, it's not finished and I don't really feel the need to right now. Like maybe one day I will, but yeah, I don't know. This was just such a good story and I love this. Like it's obviously 5 stars. Like I don't know what else I would rate this because I just love the story so much. And I love these characters so much. I will say the only con that I had with this was listening to the audio for a lot of it. I wish I would have just like sucked it up and read it physically, because the audio for this is just so insane. Like the way that the guy does the voices for certain people is just, it's a lot. It's so much that I'm like, oh, like I hate I just don't like it. I wish they would redo them because I feel like they would be really, really, really amazing audiobooks if they would be redone, or even have like a cast for it, like the different characters. I think that would be amazing, but it's one guy like changing his voice for everybody, and oh, it's like a lot. It's a lot. I don't know. I don't really love the audio for this, but if you just read it physically, I'm sure you'll have a better time with this. But love this. I guess 5 stars. I don't know what else I would rate this. I just love these characters so much, and this story is just absolutely insane. I need to like not think about this for like 2 or 3 years and then rewatch the show again, because I did just rewatch this maybe not even like 3 months ago, and then with reading it again, I'm like that's a lot. There's a lot going on with this, but I love it so much. I love these characters. If you haven't read this or watched the show, honestly, you could probably watch the show first just to see all the characters and kind of know. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like you could read it or watch it first. It really wouldn't matter. And then I do have an update for An Isle in the Silver Sea. I am almost halfway through this, and I'm gonna hopefully finish this today because I got the audio for it last night, and that really helped me kind of like keep up the pacing and get a little bit further into this. Basically, just to give like a quick like midway thoughts and explain kind of what's going on in this. So basically, these people are living on this isle that is based pretty much like in London or outside of London. So this isle is powered by and fed by stories and tales. So there are people on this that are called incarnates, and they are basically a part of certain tales, and they are reincarnated in every single lifetime to play out a story or a tale, and that's like their only purpose in life, and their fate is to play out these stories. And the one that we're following in this is the Knight and the Witch, and that is Bina and Simran, and they basically know from a young age that they are an incarnate, and they know that their fate is to play out this story. So that's kind of like the basis of this, and I was a little bit confused at first with certain things that were happening. But also what's going on in this is you find out pretty early on that there is a guy in here who is an assassin, and he's going around trying to kill all of the incarnates, because if for some reason these people aren't able to play out their story, then that story dies, and that part of the island dies as well. So it's really important to the queen and the archivist that these stories get played out and are finished, because if not, then the island eventually will like crumble and fall away and die, essentially. So that's kind of like the basis of everything that's going on. It's very interesting. I like this. It's like cozy feeling because of the stories and the fairy tales, but it's also high stakes and very dark at the same time, because you kind of know like one of them is going to die at the end, and also there's this assassin going around and kind of like putting all of these stories in the island at risk. So very interesting. I'm really liking it, and I'm glad that I picked this up. I'm glad that I have this and that I'm reading it, because I just appreciate this type of like unique story. It doesn't feel like copy and paste at all. It's very much its own thing, and yeah, I'm really liking this. I like some of the side characters as well. I feel like they're really well done, and I like also what I was going to mention is at the beginning of each chapter, it kind of makes more sense reading it, because I was trying to explain this earlier and I like could not explain it correctly, but they have like these little excerpts from certain like books or letters or just like notes and stuff that people wrote down, and the archivists go through everything, and either like it gets published or it's okay to have out in the world, or they destroy it, because if it's anything that is like against the queen or the stories, or someone not happy about being incarnate, they destroy it, because that could potentially put these stories at risk. And if it's okay, like this one says, it was love for the queen and country, there's no greater love, my brother, than the one we have for this green and blessed land. So obviously that one's okay to have. And it says archivist ruling, preserve, publication permitted, no further action required. So it kind of just gives you a little bit insight throughout this as to like how much the queen and the archivist are controlling in this world, and how much they are kind of like controlling the narrative and hiding things, I guess you could say. So that's a really interesting part of this, is like each chapter you get a little bit more insight as to like what is going on and like the control, I guess, aspect of this. So yeah, I'm really liking this. Like I said, I hope I can finish this today. I have like 5 hours I think left of the audiobook, so I'm just going to listen to it as much as I can throughout the rest of today, and then while I'm at the gym, and then tonight when I get home from work, hopefully I can just finish the end of it. Also, I'm really glad that this is a standalone because I'm curious to see how it wraps up and how everything kind of plays out at the end and how we're able to solve everything that's going on in this. Like, are they going to play out their fate and is one of them going to die, or are they going to figure out a way to kind of get out of this, of like out of being an incarnate and playing out their fate, and like what's happening with this assassin guy, like who is he and why is he doing this? So yeah, I don't know, I'm interested, I'm curious to see how this plays out. And yeah, I'll probably update tomorrow after I finish this and after I picked up another book, because it will either be Daughter of No Worlds or something else. I really haven't decided yet, so I will update you tomorrow probably once I've decided and after I finish this. Jump scare. I have a face mask on, but I just finished part 1 of The Isle on the Silver Sea, and now I'm at part 2, and I was like, what? Like, I was not ready for that. I was not expecting that to happen. Like, everything happened so fast, and I was like, wait, why does this feel like the end of the book when there's 200 pages left? And then that happened, and now I'm like, I'm so invested. I'm literally so invested. Also, side note, Vina is so Dorian coded. She's so Dorian coded. There's been twice so far where Simran says something along the lines of, I need help, or I need you to help with this, and Vina's instant response is, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. She doesn't ask questions. What do you need help with? Like, what are we doing? What's the plan? None of that. Tell me what to do. Oh, I love her. She's so soft. Oh, I love her so much. So I have some updates on the books that I've been reading. It's been actually quite a few days since I finished The Isle on the Silver Sea. So I finished this quite a few days ago, and honestly, I don't really know how to feel about this. Like, when I very first finished it, I was like, yeah, that's a good 4-star book. Like, that was a lot of fun. It was extremely unique and just so different from anything I've ever read before. But I don't think I've not thought about this one time since I finished it, which is kind of sad because I did enjoy my time while I was reading it, and I do feel like it deserves to be like more talked about, I guess you could say, but it just didn't really like stick with me the way that I thought it would, like when I had very first finished it. But like I said, it was very unique and I really enjoyed it. Honestly, my favorite part about this was the romance. Like, I feel like there was so much other things going on with the world, with like the fairy tales and the queen and like kind of like all of this other lore that we kind of learned like as you read the book, that kind of was just like, sometimes I was like, okay, this is like a lot of noise, but like I need to get back to the actual romance of this, because I think I took a clip, I don't know if it is like in this or not, but whenever I finished part 2, like what happened with the romance, I was like my jaw was on the floor. I was like, I need to know what is going on with this. And then when we got into part 2, it felt like we kind of like took a second to get back to that, which is understandable considering like the circumstances. But I was like, there's just so much other stuff going on right now, and I just like need to know what is happening with this romance. So I don't know. I still stand by 4 stars. I think this is a great book. If you are at all interested in this book, I would say definitely pick it up because it was a lot of fun and very interesting. And the romance was just very sweet. Vina was so Dorian coded. The calmest, sweetest girl ever. Oh, I just loved her so much. And it was interesting because Vina is the knight and Samron was the one that had like knight energy. Like, Samron was the one that was like tough and bad and like no bullshit. Like she was straight to the point, and Vina was the one that was like really soft and sweet, and I really liked both of them. They were both very, very sweet. I just thought this was a very unique, interesting book, and still I love this cover. I think it's one of the most gorgeous covers I've ever seen. And yeah, I thought the way it ended also was very sweet. Like the very last page had me tearing up. I literally had tears in my eyes because I was like, that is so sweet. The sweetest ending to a book. Oh my gosh, it was just precious. But yeah, 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. I'm glad that I got this off of my TBR and that I read it. And I'm glad that I read something else by Tasha Suri, because when I read The Jasmine Throne by her, I wasn't in love with it, and I'm glad that I read something else by her because I do think she's a very talented writer, and I can't wait to see what else she puts out. And then I have quite a big update on Daughter of No Worlds. I don't know if I even gave an update on this at all. I really honestly can't remember, but let me see. I've been reading it on my iPad because it is on Kindle Unlimited, and I've been flying through it. I'm on page 288. I'm 57% of the way through this, so chapter 40. Let me see. I'm kind of just curious to see like where that is in the book. It looks like just over halfway that I'm through this book, and I am absolutely loving this so much. My favorite thing about this book is that it's not enemies to lovers. Oh my god, I feel like enemies to lovers trope is so overdone, and I found out last year I was getting really burnt out on romantasy because it felt like everything was enemies to lovers, and I feel like it's really easy with enemies to lovers, like with that trope, for they're just like always bickering or like arguing about something, and it's just so unenjoyable for me to read at this point. Like sometimes enemies to lovers can be done really well and like have that banter in there that is like so cute, but like sometimes it's like a very fine line where it's like, okay, you guys are just annoying, and I can't. Like with Quicksilver, it really annoyed me because I was like, they were just bickering all the time, and Sarah's always had to have like a snarky remark and something like that, and I don't know, I started to get really annoyed with like the enemies to lovers trope. But this is not enemies to lovers at all. Like he was very much like kind of grumpy to begin with, but they were never enemies at all, ever. Basically, she was brought to his doorstep by one of his higher ups and was like, you're gonna train her. I know you don't want to, and I know you don't like this. The orders is what the magic system is called in here, I guess you could say. But she was like, I know you don't like the orders, but you have to do what I say, so you're gonna train her. And he was like, no, I'm not. And so he kind of like was grumpy about it to begin with, but once he decided to train her, he was like, okay, if I'm gonna train you, I'm gonna be the best damn teacher ever. And oh, it's so cute. I love them so much. Like the amount of things that I have highlighted and the amount of times, you guys, that I have been like giggling while reading this book, and that has not happened in so long. Like I am literally reading this and like being like you know what I'm saying? Like it is just so cute. Let me read some of the quotes. Basically, okay, I think everybody already knows what this series is, but yes, Tasana was a slave. She basically got free of that. She escaped and found her way on this other country where they use the orders to train and like train this magic that she has. So she goes to the towers where they are, and she asks to become a part of the orders, so that way she can go back to where she was as a slave and like free all the other slaves. And they tell her she actually has to train first for a pretty long time and like pass these tests before she can become a part of the orders. So that's where Max comes in, and he starts like training her to pass these tests, and we're kind of very slowly finding out why, and like why he was reluctant in the first place to even train Tasana. And it's really kind of heartbreaking the more that we get into it. Like they both have very dark past, and it makes it very hard for them to kind of like not understand each other, because they both understand like why they have the goals that they do, but it's I don't know, it's just so good. There's a part where she pressed her finger beneath one of her eyes and said, I see you, Max, you are no great question. I need it tattooed on my body. Like they're so cute. And then later on they were having a conversation, and he was like kind of like picking her apart, and then he like did it back to her. He was like, I see you, Tasana, you're no great question. And I read the iconic lines that I've seen before I hope whoever did this to you died a terrible, painful death. And then the part where he made her the necklace, you guys, he literally made her a necklace with like little magical, they're called statograms, I think, in this, but they're basically like runes. And he put runes on like the back of her necklace so that way she could, one of them was like for healing, one of them was to make a fire, and the other one was to bring her back home, like to his home. And he said, only if you want to. And she like asked him to put it on for her, like meaning like yes, like I would. Oh my god, they're so cute. Look at this. Max, the man who had taken such great care to carve out his own solitary corner in the world, was giving me what I never had. The real gift was not the necklace. The gift was a home to come back to. But like I said, there's also a lot of really dark parts to this. Like Tasana and her friends that she left behind, is she's like very worried about them and her family, and she's finding out pieces of information that are really heartbreaking. And she basically, what just happened was kind of like a big turning point in the story, where she basically made a deal with the people that are like the head of the orders, and Max is like very heartbroken about it. Oh, like I don't know where we're supposed to go from here, but I know like this is like a big turning point at the part that I'm at right now, so I know it's about to get like very dark probably and very sad. So I don't know, I'm on page 288 of 510, so I'm gonna try to finish this tonight, if not tomorrow, and then I will update you on my thoughts. But right now I have 5-star feelings. I don't know if that's like, could be because it is the first book in the series, so I don't necessarily know, but I just am loving everything about this. I'm gonna continue reading this, and hopefully tonight or tomorrow I have an update, and then I can finish this vlog, because I'm gonna try to do better about filming reading vlogs and getting them posted like a lot quicker, because that is my goal. My goal in February is to post like at least 4 reading vlogs with like other videos being posted too. That's my goal. We'll see if that happens. Who knows? Sorry about the lighting. I know this is not ideal by any means, but I was editing this vlog, like finishing editing it last night, because I'm supposed to post it today, and I realized that I never said my ending thoughts on Daughter of No Worlds. So I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I inhaled that book. I read it so fast. Every time I sat down to read it, I would read like 150 pages at a time. I was just like binging the book, and I was so genuinely obsessed with the characters and actually cared about them and was invested in their story and felt like they were real people, which has been a really long time since I was so giddy and invested in a book. And so it just felt so good and so refreshing to be so in a book. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know that feeling when you're just like, you never want it to end and you're just binging it. Like, it's seriously one of the best feelings ever. So I ended up rating it 4.5 just because a part of the story towards the end, it kind of, when we changed settings for a bit, it kind of felt like it took me out of the story, and we introduced a few new characters and we were kind of moving with that for a bit. And it kind of took me out of it for just like a small bit. And then everything in the end kind of wrapped it up. And then, so I rated it 4.5. I really, really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to continue on with the series and read book 2, because I just miss them already. Like, I hope they're okay. Like, I feel like I need to check on them. Like Max and Tasana, I just love them so much. And I love Samrin. Oh my God. I love Samrin. He is seriously, I just picture Timothy Chalamet in my head every time Samrin's on the screen. But like a tall Timothy, you know, like Dune, like, I don't know. I love Max. I love, like, right after I finished filming the update for the last update that I did, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so giddy and I'm kicking my feet and they're so cute. And I was like obsessed with the romance. And then right after that, like shortly after that, I continued reading, and it got so dark and so heartbreaking. And we found out so much information about Max and his backstory and why he hates the order so much. Like, we got a lot more information on that and a lot of detail in that as well, which was really hard to read, and it genuinely made me so sad. Like, it broke my heart even reading about that. I was like, wow, Carissa Broadbent, like, wow, that is dark. That is really, really dark. Like, I'm surprised that was even like a part of the story. It was crazy. But I don't know, I just love a troubled soul. I love that they were both so traumatized from their past. Like, I don't love that for them, but I love that it, like, what it gave to their characters and the way that it brought them together and really made them understand each other and each other's goals and wanted to help and protect each other so much. It seriously, like, it felt so real. Also, like I mentioned in my last update, I love that it was not enemies to lovers at all. They never were like bickering. They never hated each other. They never tried to like do anything shady towards each other at all. It was very like golden retriever slash like innocent, like almost felt like first love type of, like, it was very sweet and very genuine. I loved that it wasn't enemies to lovers. I just really enjoyed that. It was really refreshing to read a romantasy that was not enemies to lovers. Like, I just love a sweet boy. I love a gentleman. I love a kind man. Like, that is my type of man, and I just loved it so much. And then Tasana as well, like, she wasn't like bickering or annoying or like always trying to like be the strong person. Like, it wasn't that she was like trying to be like a badass assassin or anything. She genuinely just cared so much about the people in her life. Like, her only goal was to do whatever she could to go back and help them and save them. And it wasn't that she was like, oh no, I'm a badass, like I'm gonna get this done. It was like, no, like all these cards are against me and I have to do everything I can. Like, it felt so genuine. Like, that's all I can keep saying is this book felt should I rate it 5 stars? Should I? Like, I just loved it so much. If it ends up being 5 stars on my Fable, like, I'm sorry. I just loved it so much. But yes, I'm about to go inside. I'm gonna finish off this vlog. Sorry, this clip is very interesting, bad lighting, but it's what we're working with. I'm gonna go inside, finish editing this, and upload it. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on my next one. Bye.